I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut.
Oh, I'm Minus Fox, and I'm at Fox. This video probably won't be too long because I did talk about like how much I really like this movie already.
So, upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
God, that suit looks nice. Alright, so, just, if you haven't seen my other review of this, go watch it. It's the non-spoiler one. This is going to probably be spoilers in it, because I want to talk about the little shit inside of it. This is most of the stuff that I can remember and that I wrote down right now. Yeah, this movie is freaking great. And there's a lot of stuff. Like, this movie is a love letter, again, like I said, to, like, X-Men as well as just Marvel in general. Especially because, here's the thing, like, there was a big, during Multiverse of Madness, you know, where there was thoughts of, like, oh, like, these characters are gonna pop up. I remember one guy, he was dead set on Twitter. He was dead set saying, like, watch, they're gonna have Tom Cruise be in Multiverse of Madness as an Iron Man variant. And I'm like, bullshit. Mostly because Tom Cruise has a thing, like all his contracts, that says that they can't make action figures of his character, or at least not with his likeness, I think. I can't remember if it's his character or his, like, likeness. I can't remember exactly which one it is. But, like, that, he doesn't want he doesn't want his face ever shown on, like, merchandise or stuff like that, if I remember correctly. So that's why, like, if you look at, like, The Mummy for the Dark Universe, which, mind you, I actually like that movie. The Mummy, in that, like, the game for that, the tie-in game, like, it has nothing to do with his character or anything like that. It doesn't show his face or that because they can't allow it to happen. So, like, one, Disney's never gonna do that if that was the case, because honestly, one of the biggest moneymakers is not only the movies itself, but the merchandise from said movies. And obviously, like, the reason why, like, the heroes have different suits every movie for the MCU is because they can make new toys of all of them. And, like, I don't know if I'll ever see this suit again. We probably will. God.
I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again.
Like, that's that thing. So, like, I'm like, Tom Cruise is not gonna appear in Multiverse of Madness. Mind you, they did do some cool things. Like, one, they did do John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, which honestly I think is a really good casting. I'm not saying anything bad about Pedro Pascal's one, but, like, that was the one where, like, yeah, I could 100% see this guy being Mr. Fantastic, and he dies. Badly. But there was a little bit there. This movie, like, legitimately, like, even, like, its cameos feel like love letters to the versions that weren't, you know, that weren't gonna be, that were said to be made but were never made. So, like Channing Tatum, spoilers, Channing Tatum comes as Gambit in this, because if you didn't know, back in the day, there was talks that, oh yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it might have been around the time of X-Men Origins. I could be mistaken on that, but I remember correctly, around the time of X-Men Origins, where they were gonna do all these origin stories of that. I think they were gonna have Channing Tatum be Gambit. Because I know they were going to make Channing Tatum Gambit. I just don't remember if it was for X-Men Origins. Because X-Men Origins originally was going to be multiple origin stories for multiple X-Men. But then X-Men Origins Wolverine kind of went... But we did at least get the casting of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and then eventually led to everything we have now. But yeah, Deadpool... But in this, I guess Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum are actually kind of friends. So it was cool that, that Ryan Reynolds gave him the chance to be to be Gambit. Even like, because the big thing was like, I don't think he'll be able to pull off the Cajun accent. By God, did he pull off the Cajun accent to the point where I didn't understand a goddamn word he said. Yeah, mon chéri. My God, but then you also have other things like, again, then you have other things like, spoilers again, when they get sent to this void and Chris Evans appears and like, Deadpool's like, oh my gosh, it's him. I'm like, there's no goddamn way that's Captain America. There's no goddamn way. And then when he goes, flame on, and he turns on fire, I'm like, holy shit, it's Johnny Storm! I'm like, hell yeah. And another really, really good one was when Deadpool's going through the other universes. If you don't know the story of this movie, Deadpool's world is dying because it doesn't have an anchor being, which I love that they're taking a note from Spider-Verse. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, maybe it wasn't filmed around that time. I don't really know. Actually, well, no, because I didn't Spider-Verse. I don't know. It feels like a little bit like that. I could be completely wrong. They could have been filmed, I think, like, before Spider-Verse came out or whatever. Beyond the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse. But I feel like the idea of, yes, tie in, because there's the thing, if you have a quote-unquote anchor thing, like, oh, there's a canon event that has to happen. There always has to be a lighthouse, a man, a lighthouse, a city. Some shit like that. It allows for a lot of conversation within any community that this is set into. Especially if it has to do with the multiverse or something like that. It allows for a lot of things along that. Like, by God, like, if my favorite video game, which has nothing to do with BioShock, one of my favorite video games, I should say that. One of my favorite video games, especially at least my favorite stealth video game, Dishonored, has a man, Corvo, has a lighthouse, spoilers, the end level of Dishonored, the first game at least, and has a city. Is it Dunwall? I can't remember. Has a city. So, in a way, and also, has very similar gameplay to BioShock, with the hand up front, with the magical power, something like that. Well, science in BioShock, but whatever. Like, so you have that, and like, there's a bunch of other games that you can have a lighthouse, a man, and a city, and you're like, oh, that's connected to the BioShock universe. Spider-Verse is something similar, a canon event. Oh, Uncle Ben has to always die. This how it has to die. Even though the new Ultimate Spider-Man has broken that rule, which, yes, thank you, God. But like, yeah, like, there's always that idea and something like that. There's anchored beings, which are like the main character pretty much, that keep a universe alive. If they're killed, that universe will slowly die, and Wolverine is that anchor being for that universe. Mind you, I will say, like, out of all of these ones where it'd be like canon events or, the three things that make up a BioShock universe, like, I'm thinking, like, I feel like Deadpool himself would be an anchor being also. But then again, maybe that's also why Paradox took Deadpool out of that universe, because Deadpool himself is an anchor being for, I would say their Earth 1005, because it turns out that there is a comic Earth of that. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, there's Earth 19999, which is the MCU universe. I'm going to always be calling it that because it's not 616. But I will say, like, maybe in its own little time world thing. Because that's the thing, too, if I'm at least remembering this correctly. And again, Spider-Verse. I like the idea that, oh, this is the sacred timeline. They showed the sacred timeline. And this is the Spider-Verse. And it just shows, like, the different things, like, around the sacred timeline. Which I kind of like that. I like the idea that there's the multiverse. But there's a multiverses on top of multiverses. Like how there's galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies. Like, there's not just one multiverse. There's multiple multiverses, but they're all still part of the bigger multiverse. I would say that's how they should do it if they want to be calling it Earth 616. But in any case, so that's the whole thing. Deadpool going to other universes. But anyways, this leads to Deadpool trying to find X-Men in all different universes, which is a shit ton of references that I don't even know, like comic book. I know there's a comic book cover of Wolverine, Crucified, and all that stuff. But the one where it was the casting of Henry Cavill as Wolverine, and you see him, and I'm like, holy shit, he looks good. And the coolest thing is, he does the arm reload thing to get his claws out. He goes, doom, doom. he goes, dun, dun, and you just see the colors go, shink, shink. I'm like, God damn. So, like, at the point, I'm like, holy shit, that is amazing, and I love that. Like, by God, that is so cool. But yeah, that was just beautiful. I loved that. Like, there is so much love in this. Again, then that's why I bring back to the Tom Cruise thing. I legitimately would not. I would legitimately be like, you know what? I could see Tom Cruise Iron Man appearing in this movie now. Because it feels like this is that type of movie that would do something like that. Even if it is just for a one-off thing. Or maybe like Iron Man, like an Iron Man pops up, gets sent off, and is like, oh, that was Tom Cruise's Iron Man. Like some shit like that. There's a lot of, like, love even put into the canvas. And someone even brought up, too, that, like, even the final battle, because I was even thinking about that. The final battle, where, you have Gambit, Blade, Elektra, which when Elektra first on, I'm like, oh, shit! Elektra, and, like, X-23, 21, 23, and, like, Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. When they all do the fight thing, I was expecting Blade, Gambit, and Elektra to just immediately die somehow. Because I just expected. They didn't. They actually had a badass fight scene. Gambit had his chance him like he was having the fun of his life, just going and just throwing the card and exploding everything. I'm like, holy shit, they're actually going through with this. Yeah. And there's a bunch of really good, like, references, even, like, cool little things, like, from movie perspective, like...
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
God, I love this so much. I didn't even know I was gonna play this one.
I don't know anything about saving worlds.
God, I love that song too.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
I am soaking wet right now.
God. I'm sorry, it is just, God, I love this movie. But, I'm trying to think, like, there's a point where Deadpool and Wolverine are fighting after Wolverine gives the whole thing saying, like, how Deadpool's a joke that God made. But the thing is, it's on everyone else because he can't die. Like, God, I love that. Go watch this movie. By God, go watch it. But, like, when they're fighting that, there's a point where, like, they're fighting around the Kia. Wolverine gets knocked into it, and Wolverine kind of, goes back, just goes, does the come get me, and then you see Deadpool go sink like this, but then you see like a little dagger thing. I'm like, God damn, I love how they're now making fun of each other almost while also in a fight. Like, small details like that. By God, is it so good. I love that shit so much. And then, like, Styro even brought this up, too, that I'm not sure where it said everything, but I guess apparently the beginning of Deadpool, where he's talking to, Happy, aka Kevin Feige, that takes place 2 months before Infinity War. So 2 months before, Tony dies. I thought this was happening in his universe at one point, that in his universe, Tony was alive. But I guess that's not the case. I guess Deadpool just likes running around a different universe. It wouldn't surprise me. And even, like, I was saying, because of the stream I did yesterday, we were talking about that, and, like, I'm thinking, I was, like, surprised the TVA didn't have, trouble with, like, Deadpool, like, running around, messing with time. But then again, at least if it's following the MCU logic, all Deadpool really did was just make a shit ton of more timelines. Give me a minute. Okay, so I'll be back. For me, it'll probably be a few hours. For you, it'll be a few seconds. Back. Like, FYI, too, it's been like 3 or 4 hours since I... In any case, we're back. But, yeah, like, Deadpool probably just made a shit ton of new multiverse like world at this point. So, you know, not too bad, I guess. Let me see here. What else is there? Deadpool does Wolverine claws. Oh, and there's other things too. Cyro brought this up too on the stream. That door. Cyro brought this up also on the stream, where it turns out like when he's talking to Kevin Feige, Happy, and like he's talking about Iron Man stuff like that. Around the room, there's obviously stuff like the Iron Man stuff like that, but there is a toy Iron Man helmet, which I was like, oh, I remember that toy. Turns out it's covering, I guess, the picture of Peter Parker. It's covering the picture of Spider-Man, of Peter. And because of Iron Man 2, where it said that the little boy that, like, raises his hand up to the robot, and then, you know, Iron Man comes down and shoots the robot. Like, that's Peter. That was Peter. And I'm like, oh, shit! So, it's kind of canon now? Because that's the thing that I love about this thing, is that, like, again, fan-wise, like, it has a lot of fan service, but in the good way. Of, like, yeah, Channing Tatum got to be able to play as Gambit. You got, we got to see Blade pop up again, which is actually like funny when Blade goes, "There's only one of me," and Deadpool looks at the camera like, well, like, and that's also the reason why I also really like this movie. And the thing is, I really, really like this movie a lot because it allows for characters to interact beyond just the X-Men, because you got Blade in there, you got Elektra, you got, well, Gambit's X-Men. But you have all those other X-Men characters there too. You have Johnny Storm. Like, this is how I want to see a multiverse movie. Or like an MCU movie that has a bunch of characters. Like, it doesn't have to always be all these characters meeting up, but I want to see these interact. And that's why, like, I don't really understand the hate for the Spider-Man movies, the MCU Spider-Man movies. Like, mind you, I'm not saying they're my favorite Spider-Man movies. No, my favorite Spider-Man movies are the animated ones. Spider-Verse ones. Live-action ones, the Amazing Spider-Man. And, like, I don't care what anyone says, those movies are so freaking great, so pure Spider-Man. I love those. But the MCU ones, the reason why I like those a lot, and also why I put them way above the Tobey Maguire ones, is because this is a Spider-Man that is born from the MCU. This is a Spider-Man that bounces off of different things. Hell, he's dealing with fallout from other shit that's happened in the MCU that then makes it into, you know, his life. Like, I love that stuff. And I love this Deadpool one because it plays in that similar note where we can see him interacting with so many different characters. And yeah, like, I remember, was it Ultimate Spider-Man the game? If I could play that again, I gotta find it. I think there's a way I can find it so I can play it on PC. Ultimate Spider-Man the game. I remember playing that game, and when Johnny Storm pops up to race you across New York at one point, and I'm like, that's freaking cool! I love that! Like, I want more stuff like that, and I want more Deadpool stuff like that. Hell yeah. Let me see. What else can I add to talk about this? Because there's so many good things. Also, like, I'll say this right now, spoilers, I guess, for the ending. Like, because here's the thing, like, all we've heard is that Hugh Jackman's this is his last time ever playing Deadpool. They're just doing it for, you know, so they can finally have these guys together and all this stuff. And I do love the running joke that Deadpool says, like, you're gonna do this till you're 90. Which, actually, it's really funny, too, because if you think about it, this is Wolverine. He's 200 years old. That is a fourth wall break, obviously, because he's telling Hugh Jackman, you're going to be doing this till you're 90. Which is freaking great. Even, like, the ending of it. Like, hold on. Right here.
You made an educated wish. You didn't
Right here.
lie. You made an educated wish.
Educated Wish is a good joke.
You got a whole world to go back to. I got nothing.
Hey.
I waited a long time for this team. You know something? You were the best, Wolverine.
I love this line, this whole delivery, this whole line thing, because it has so many layers of love in it that I love. The point where he's like, you know, I've waited so long for this team up. Obviously, it's Deadpool saying, like, you had, obviously, face value. It's Deadpool wanting to team up with Wolverine. The MCU, this Deadpool wanting to team up with Wolverine. That's the baseline of it. Higher line of it, it's Ryan Reynolds telling Hugh Jackman that, you know, like, I wanted to see us work together to be, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine together. Because that's a big thing that he's been wanting for a long time. And then even the point where he says right here, you were the best Wolverine. It has layers to that too. Because on the base layer of it, it's Deadpool telling this Wolverine who failed in his life because he never really joined the X-Men. And I actually really like the reason why he wears the suit in this is because Scott wanted him to wear the suit along with everyone else. Wolverine's like, no, I'm never gonna wear that weird corny yellow suit. And then, you know, all of them die, so he wears it now in honor of them. And it's something that even is brought up, that Deadpool brings up a lot. Why do you keep wearing the suit? Like, I don't see it. There's no strategic reason for it. There's nothing like that, because that's, you know, the whole thing. Again, that's a meta joke too on the idea of like, well, you know, they gotta wear dark suits, stuff like that, to be more stealth and stuff like that. But it's like, it's a superhero costume. Be bright and colorful. Like, it's a little bit of a joke on that. Like, yeah, like, why are you wearing it? It's not stealthy. It's not really armored based. And, like, it turns out it's because he's wearing it now because, you know, he messed up. All of his friends died, and he wears it in honor of them now. And, like, you know, there's layers. So, and, like, you know, he's considered the worst Wolverine in that universe and all that stuff. So Deadpool's saying, like, you know, you're the best Wolverine. So you take that in the multiverse standpoint over in this world of Deadpool telling Wolverine, yes, you're the best Wolverine. He's giving him, saying that he's a good person. But on the flip note of that, it's obviously, it's Deadpool, it's Ryan Reynolds telling Hugh Jackman, or Deadpool and say, also telling Hugh Jackman, whatever, that you are the best Wolverine. Even if this is your last go at it, you will always be the best Wolverine. And I love that. And also, it leads to a really good fake out, which I actually thought was really cool. Because the whole thing is that right now they're going to go into the antimatter chamber to die because, like, Xavier's sister who died in the womb, and not died in the womb, was going to be strangled by Xavier in the womb, and all this other because of just how evil she is and shit. Whatever, she's gonna destroy the multiverse. I really do like when, like, you see, like, the untangling, like, in Loki season 2, which was really cool. I'm like, all right, continuity, I like that. I'm trying to think of how to say this. He tells them? No, that's wrong. What am I thinking here? Oh, but, like, he, like, you know, it's all this setup because, like, you're, like, pretty much saying, like, you know, whoever goes in there has to, like, touch the two, like, antimatter and matter together to then explode it to destroy the machine, but whoever doesn't will die themselves. And Wolverine obviously says he's going to go and do it himself. And I'm like, okay, so this is how they're going to kill off Wolverine. Because Hugh Jackman, like, I'm pretty sure it's set up that, you know, this is the only time Hugh Jackman's going to be Wolverine. So this is going to be the end for him. So, like, this is the end. This is his way out of the movies while having, you know, a heroic death, but also, you know, whatnot. And then you have, you know, Deadpool, like, right when Wolverine's about there, he switches out, he throws Wolverine to the side, gets in, locks the door, and Wolverine's like, what the hell, man? And I really love that part, too, because Deadpool, like, hangs out there at the door for a minute, like, you know, I'll be whatever, or Spock, or, like, all the jokes, and, like, he's like, man, I think I'm nervous. Like, that's why I'm making so many jokes. Like, I love that shit, because it was a good fake. I was like, oh shit, this is where Wolverine dies. Because 90% of the time you're like, okay, this is where, you know, something's going to happen. But, like, no. And mind you, it faked that out. But then also, obviously, Wolverine eventually does come in there, grabs his hand, which I really love because you see Deadpool. At that part, I'm like, all right, Wolverine's going to come in and save him, obviously. Because Deadpool comes in, grabs the antimatter, reaches out for the other one. He slowly, it looks like the world's about to end. But then you see Logan just grab his arm and just hand out, just shink, and just stab into it. The energy flowing through them, and then, you know, boom, they both, like, his shirt explodes, which is hilarious. God, this movie, like, holy shit. I love how his shirt exploded, but he still has the helmet on. I love that. This man so much. I love that so much. Like, by God, I love that. God, what else can I say about this movie? Like, there's a lot of stuff to say about it, but like, yeah, this entire movie feels like a love letter to comic books, a love letter to Deadpool and Wolverine and like X-Men and all these comic book heroes. I want to see more of this. Like, I've said before, like, you know, okay, the Love and Thunder is an okay movie, which it is. It's an okay movie. I wasn't hating it watching it. I've watched too many bad things to be like, yeah, I hate this. No. There are still decent movies, but there are movies that are, I would say, are masterpieces. This, I honestly would say, is one of them. And I would say this, too, like, this does the multiverse thing way better than Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like, that one, I'm just like, wow, like, because there's ways you could do a multiverse story. And, like, the simplest and stupidest way you could do it is, oh, they travel through all these multiverses very quickly. See? Multiverses, but you're really just going to hang out in one universe, and that's kind of it. This one, even though, yeah, you're technically, most of the movie, you're hanging out in the void or the end of time and all that stuff. Even though you're hanging out there for majority of the movie, it is still... It at least has the multiverse effect of having everyone from other multiverses coming together. And then it even adds on top of that, too, that Deadpool knows the other multiverses because of fourth wall breaking, so it adds another layer to that as well. This movie is way smart, is very smart, like, and very fun. Mind you, some things really don't match up, like, Logan, I think it's supposed to take place in 2040 or some shit like that, and all this other stuff. It's like, wait, is Deadpool taken before that or after that? But then again, also, it doesn't really matter because Deadpool is fourth wall break. It doesn't really matter at that point. But, yeah, I don't know what else to say. This movie's great. Also, let me just say this round. The opening is my favorite opening in, like, a Marvel movie. Down to the dancing to Bye Bye Bye, which I had a whole, like, you know, oh, I love Led Zeppelin moment, because I was like, I love the Backstreet Boys. I'm like, God damn it. But yeah, God, this movie is just fun. This movie is 100% fun. And it's written well. It's a fun love letter. It's a great movie. Just seeing these two interact and work off of each other. Seeing Deadpool interact and work off with many people. I do really love the Blade one where he's like, you know, I don't like you. You never did. Like, I'm like, God damn it, Ryan. That's a perfect one. Oh, God. But, yeah, this movie's just great. This movie's fun. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. I would definitely say go see it in theaters. Freaking great. Go watch it in AMC. Go buy some hot, Hot Ones hot sauce. But, also, as we say this right now.
So silly.
Coming together.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, there's the part where Deadpool's behind the wall. But like, even like I say this right now, even down to the song where it says like it feels like home. Like Wolverine and Deadpool are coming home to the MCU. Like down to that alone, which this is the song, like, mind you, a lot of times they'll play a song and say, oh wow, that's a really good song for the trailer. No, this is a song that's actually in the movie. It's actually meant for them. Well, meant. Not like it was made for it. But it's used for the movie. And yeah, when it sings like, you know, it feels like home. It does. It feels like they're finally coming home. I love that.
About big slow motion action.
Also, Dogpool is adorable. Also, it's funny when he has his mask on, like you see like they like enlarge his eyes so he's looking around side. I was like, God, I love that dog.
Sequence.
Adorable.
Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even force bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes.
Oh god. What does LFG mean actually? What the fuck? But God, I love this movie so much. I like it. It leaves at the end that like Wolverine says probably not. I probably won't come back. But honestly, I hope he does, because at the end it's also really cool seeing him alongside X-23 at the end, where X-23 comes out with her, and like I love the whole line where he's saying like, "You got the wrong guy," and X-23 goes, "You are the wrong guy until you're not." I'm like, God, I love that. I love seeing that X-23 is in this and working alongside him again. And like, they finally get more time. She gets finally more time with her dad and all that stuff. It's beautiful. I love it. Also, side note, LFG means let's fucking go. But also on that same note too, one thing I actually wanted to point out is one. I don't think I said this in the last video, and this is too. I want to say this before I end this. Yeah, like Wolverine is the X-Man. Like, he was always the main one that everyone thought of. Always was the coolest. Everyone knows the claws and all that stuff. I will say I like that Cyclops is getting more attention now, and they're adding a little bit more to everything, other team members, and it's all cool and all. But Wolverine is the X-Man. But also on that same note, they did Rob Liefeld's name is here. If you don't know I don't know if he has a feet thing, but Liefeld's. Oh, wait a minute, no, I get it, because Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. Rob Liefeld can't draw feet, so this is a fun joke towards Rob Liefeld. If you don't know who Rob Liefeld is, he's the guy who made Deadpool. Which, funny enough, Deadpool does actually make an appearance in the '97 X-Men show. Like, the original, he makes, like, a brief appearance, I think, like, during a hallucination or something like that. But the thing is, back then, that was when Deadpool first started, and back then, Deadpool was very serious, and he didn't make jokes, he didn't have the fourth wall breaks, he didn't have everything that makes him the Deadpool that we know now. So, like, I don't know, Rob Liefeld made the basis of the character, maybe, like, design-wise, but the character himself who was made, that was, like, writers after the fact, just FYI. But yeah, yeah, so anyways, it's just a quick little thing I want to add in here real quick. So, yeah, maximum effort, let fucking go! God, another one that I missed the first time, I don't know how many people have caught this one. This fourth wall break / joke right here.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
Because if you don't know, Foggy is Daredevil's best friend, and his like second in command and all that stuff. His best friend. And that is who Kevin Feige first plays in the Daredevil movie, with the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. So when he's saying Foggy, so that's the one thing I can't do, that he's literally saying Kevin Feige, but also referencing his role that he played in Daredevil. So that's just a good wall break joke. That's a word to reference. That's just great. Go check out this movie. Thanks for watching. If you're tuning I've done, links are on my face, subscription buttons are on there somewhere, particular videos. Hopefully enjoy this, and we will see you later. I really gotta get a Deadpool mask, but by God, does this not look good? I don't have a shell, but honestly, I think it kind of looks pretty good even without a shell. Like, holy hell.